Now we go to the much weighted discussion, and please use your chat room to use the prompts are there to share your experiences at your institutions. It could be the study abroad, international student, or any of the other international initiatives. So I have invited many of our colleagues from representing different HBCUs across the country to share their experiences and the work based on the chapter contribution or collaboration we work over the years. So we begin with the first scholar. I request Dr. Charity Clay, who wrote a chapter with the signature study abroad program at Xavier University. Dr. Clay, if you are here, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So, my name is Dr. Charity Clay. I'm a professor in the Department of Sociology and the Program of African American and Diaspora Studies at Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I wrote a chapter that was informed by both my experiences as a student at a PWI and as a professor at an HBCU. So just a little quick background. I went to DePaul University in Chicago initially on a basketball scholarship. And unfortunately, I was hit by a car, ended my basketball career, but it really tuned me into the academic side. I got some mentors, and I really started realizing how important faculty mentorship is to the success of students on campus. Specifically in my case, as a Black student at a PWI, seeking out not just Black professors, but professors who understood the experiences of students who also have to work, or students who aren't from the area or don't have a strong network in their community. And one of my professors suggested that I do study abroad. At my university, study abroad was connected to majors. So every major had a couple of study abroad programs you could choose from. So I was public policy and accounting major, and I took a trip to the EU, 3 cities in the EU, where we studied. I was doing a comparative study between public housing in Amsterdam and public housing in Chicago. What I didn't expect or wasn't prepared for was how alienated I could feel in another country, right? Not only was I the only Black student on the trip, I was the only student who didn't have a lot of money, had never traveled internationally previously. And the things that we were doing didn't resonate at all with anything I was interested in. You know, we were going to museums and we were talking about, great European civilizations. And, it was almost as there was no African influence in any of these European countries, which I knew kind of wasn't the truth. So when I started teaching, but I had a great experience. I learned a lot, traveling. So I always advocated for it. But when I got to Xavier, I really wanted to help students have opportunities to go abroad that weren't like mine, where they didn't feel alienated, where they didn't feel disconnected from their peers and also their professors and the curriculum. So what I wanted to do was first figure out why it is that HBCU students, why the study abroad numbers aren't as high. Because what we're always told is that it's because students don't have the money and that students may not understand the value of some of these programs. So I wanted to look at how those narratives are shaped and how they inform the way we develop study abroad programs. So I, used Qualtrics survey for different HBCU students. I got students. I didn't get a lot of East Coast students. So most of the students are from the Gulf South, right? And Florida, a little bit up to South Carolina, but I didn't get much of the East Coast schools. But it was interesting because the findings show that it wasn't so much that they didn't have the money, it was that there are commitments that prevent them from doing semester-long programs. Right. So it's not necessarily I can't get the money for the program, but I may not be able to miss 3 weeks of work or my family commitments. So I realized that financial commitments, right, are not the same as a lack of financial resources. So just kind of reframing how we understand that was a big thing. And then the second thing in my surveys that came out was that a lot of students um, don't see programs where they want to go, right? There's a very small percentage of, and I can't remember the name, Dr. Pender. Thank you so much for providing that history and that acknowledgement of how international HBCUs are, because the students who come here, they come for a specific type of diasporic engagement, whether it be through faculty, through classes, through curriculum. So when HBCU study abroad programs don't provide opportunities throughout the diaspora, it's not that they don't see the value of the programs, is that programs are sometimes defined in value by Eurocentrism, right? So it's not necessarily that they don't want to go study abroad, but they don't necessarily want to go to Rome or Israel, right? Or Beijing, instead of having the opportunity to go to and not just, the coastal cities, but, I have students who want to go to Zimbabwe or Zambia or Chad or Niger or all these places, and they don't see the opportunities. So it's not that they don't see the value of the programs, is that the programs that are often provided aren't the ones that they value, and other opportunities aren't readily presented. Another thing I found was trust factor, right? Students not wanting to go abroad with people that they don't trust in terms of, I'll say this is a lot based on our model. So we don't have an institutionalized model at Xavier. What our current model is to do is to support students with third-party opportunities. And a lot of our students, they say, well, I would rather go with faculty that I have relationships with cohorts of students, not just Xavier students, but other HBCU students that I feel that I could have a more enriching opportunity with. So my research kind of looks at how, what institutionalization looks like from a faculty leadership standpoint. I've been fortunate enough to take students to Senegal a couple of times, develop some classes around that, but understanding the investment in faculty and curriculum that institutions will need to make those sustainable, because it is a lot to do. So that's kind of where my research is. So I work with the program. Actually, two Morehouse alum created a program called PASSI, Planting a Seed International. And what their goal essentially is to take HBCU students, not just from one school, but any HBCUs students can attend, and they have programs in West Africa. So kind of working with them to see if my idea is perhaps maybe an HBCU study abroad consortium, right? Big Ten and other conferences and stuff have consortiums that pool resources together. So the kind of next step of my research is what it looks like to pilot opportunities that involve multiple universities, specifically for programs that link curriculum to the diaspora. So excited to be invited for a chapter, excited to read everyone's work and collaborate with folks in the future. So thanks for having me. Apologize for being long-winded.
Thank you, Dr. Clay. Appreciate it. Now, let's hear from Dr. Soji Okumolafi from North Florida State University on why African studies matter in internationalization. Dr. Soji, you are here. Continue. I can invite him later on. So for another 2 minutes remarks, let's move to North Carolina AT&T. Dr. Caroline Brooks, she will highlight the faculty readiness in internationalization plans. Dr. Brooks.